Welcome back to Matterley Basin, where the European 250 Championship round is about to get underway. Round 7 of 8. Probably the warmest it's been all day here so far in the south of England, right down there, just a stone's throw away from the south coast. 20 degrees. We had horrible rain this morning. The track was rutting in places, but it's looking like it's coming good. So sit back, enjoy the local sights of Winchester, the city just down the road. We'll be back with European 250 final race. Quick look at the track, just under 1,600 meters long, about 80, 90 meters into turn 1, off cambered slightly downhill through the left-hander into the grey zone, and then a 90-degree right, dropping downhill through what is a very fast sweeping left-hander. Takes him right down through the dip and up into turn 4. There's Valentin Guillot, pole sitter and championship leader. Now, in terms of the championship, he can win the European Championship if he scores 8 points more than Jeremy Seewer on the number 91 Rockstar Energy Europe Suzuki. So that means that Guillot is first, Jeremy Seewer is 5th. Anything other than that, it goes to Lira in a couple of weeks' time. So, of course, we'll keep our eye on the scenarios throughout the course of the moto. Nervous times then for the European 250 riders down there in the waiting zone. Championship looks like this. Valentin Guillot on 144 points. Jeremy Seewer second. It's a Swiss 1-2 in this classification, the championship. He's on 127. Damon Graulis, the Belgian, is on 101. Brian Bogers is 4th on 76. So really looking at 3 guys now establishing themselves ahead of the rest of the field. Damon Graulis can just have a good ride, and that might secure him at least 3rd in the championship. Needs to get a good ride here, though. Brian Bogers is 4th. Cyril Klein-Kromhoff is 5th. He's missed the last couple of rounds. Not here either this weekend. Certainly haven't seen him knocking around. And then we've got Mike Krass, who's just a few points behind fellow Dutchman in 6th. Brent van Donnik, Benoit Paturel, Mika Boy de Waal, and Jordan Booker. So the lead Brit in this championship will be looking at putting in a performance here today. Might be spurred on by the kind of stuff that's been happening out on track so far already this weekend. Been some notable performances. Time practice, it was Valentin Guillot who was fastest, ahead of Thomas Covington on the CLS Floride Kawasaki, the American. Riding his first time in the European Championship race this weekend. Benoit Paturel on the Husqvarna Junior Factory Machine was 3rd, ahead of Jeremy Seewer, Jorge Zaragoza and Damon Graulis. Stephen Clark on the HM Plant KTM was 7th. This was in time training. Then in the Jordan Booker, 114, sorting himself out. In semi-final Group A, Valentin Guillot completed all 12 laps with a start-to-finish win ahead of Benoit Paturel. Likewise for him, Stevie Clark came from 6th to get to 3rd, ahead of Thomas Kjær Olsen, who dropped from 3rd to 4th. Jorge Zaragoza started 4th and finished in 5th, with Jordan Booker starting in 5th and finishing in 6th. Arnold Aubin was 7th. Anders Lasheras was 8th. Joel Milesevic on the Diga Racing KTM was 9th. And Václav Kovar was 10th, ahead of Adam Sterry on the STR KTM. Michele Chervelin was 12th. Luca Moroni, John Kupen, Jaap Corneth, Luke Norris, Thomas Wisocki, and Karel Kutzar. That's how they line up. Guyot because he won Group A. Covington because he won Group B by 1 second over Jeremy Seewer. That was a pretty intense affair as well. Damon Growlers was 3rd, about 22 seconds further back on the standing construct KTM. Brian Burgers on the Stabilo Pro Grip KTM was 4th, ahead of Mika Boy de Waal on the HSF Logistics JTX KTM. Ben Watson pulled a big hole shot through the first turn in the qualifying race, ran through the middle of the turn, drifted out to the outside on the exit, used the little edge of dirt, the bank, just to get the wheels in and hooked up, pulled him out of there a treat. But he eventually came home in 6th, his best qualifying of the season so far. Arminius Jasikonis on the Route 77 Energy Honda was 7th, ahead of Mike Kress on the Burstfoon Suzuki. Lewis Trickett, iFly Lanes Kawasaki was 9th. Stefan Eckerold on the Cossack Racing KTM. George Cable, Davide Bonini, Henrik Stigel, Carl Bengtsson, Jesper Jonsson, Ditka Damians and Ryan Houghton. There are a few guys disqualified for not respecting the waved yellow flags multiple times, and they were Simone Fallotti, Martin Hansen, Benoit Jamet, and Sam Winterburn, the Brit. So Valentin Guyot on the Guyot Motorsports KTM, looking at trying to win another moto, another round, and he'll be also looking to see if he can claim a first European Championship crown as well. Of course, Jeremy Seewer is his closest rival, and he will be looking to do all he can as well to prevent his fellow Swiss winning here, and looking to apply the pressure, take it to the final round at Lierop in 2 weeks' time. There's Thomas Covington, 64. He's a guy to look out for. A bit windy out on track, as you can see, but still got a good crowd gathered here at Matterley Basin. It's 9:19. Ben Watson. Brother Nathan picked up a couple of points earlier in MX2, race 1. He'll be looking to do the same again here. Will Ben Watson. Last-minute preparations going on for the riders, trying to sort themselves out. Jordan Booker applying the goggles. Be good for him to get a result here this weekend. Booker 10th in the championship. Picked up a 6 at the opening round in Portugal. But since then, he's been a little bit up and down outside the top 10, so be interesting to see if he can get himself back on track and put in a performance here in Moto. Well, it's only one race now, isn't it, in the European Championship, so the first and only Moto of the weekend. As usual, Dave Nicol, our race director, getting ready to bring the riders under starters' orders. Pretty much looks like everyone's ready to go down there, but only he will know for sure. Jittery times for the riders as they check all the last-minute things. If they start in second, they go into first, into neutral, hook into second, go back down, keep checking, selecting, make sure everything's working okay. 15-second board is up, though. So we're getting ready to go racing here. European 250. Their only race of the weekend. 5-second board turns. The heads go down, the revs go up. 19, Ryan Houghton on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha. Slow reaction from him up the inside at his home race. But looks to hook the inside, and it's a bit of bar banging going on. Valentin Guyot caught in that, and he gets pushed to the outside behind the 64 of Covington. Seewer and Zaragoza not getting decent starts either. Benoit Patrel buried mid-pack on that number 142. But sweeping around And dropping downhill, it's 5:11, Stevie Clark. So Stevie Clark, HM Plant KTM, takes a look over his shoulder. As he sweeps uphill, he'll get a good reception here. Will the guy finish third in his qualifying race? So doubling up into the left-hander. Stevie Clark, George Cable second, Stefan Eckerol third, Jeremy Sewer fourth, has the advantage at the moment over Valentin Guillot, who is down in 7th position, just finding a way past or alongside Mike Crass, who looks over his shoulder. Mike Crass maybe not wanting to get involved in that battle, but Eckerol there, number 15 in 3rd place. The yellow Suzuki, the 91 of Jeremy Sewer in 4th place. He knows this is an open, oh, and he stalls it. Stevie Clark stalls, and there's riders going down all over the place. Guillot, one of them. So Guillot gets caught out as Stevie Clark stalls the machine. Another rider ran into the back, and I can only assume that Valentin Guillot just ran right into the back. So it's going to be a tense time now for the points leader. Well, he could have done without that, that's for sure. Into this race, and of course Stevie Clark stalling the machine over on that far side of the circuit. So George Cable now, different angle. Watch this, Stevie Clark stalls at the end of the straight. A couple of riders avoid him, but then Valentin Guillot comes in hot, catches the rear wheel of Sewer actually. So over the line, this will be the interesting one then. See exactly where everybody is. George Cable leads, Stefan Eckerol second, Lewis Trickett of Britain third, Thomas Covington is fourth, Sewer is fifth, Clark sixth, Mike Crass seventh, DeWaal eighth, Bernini ninth, Sterry, Falotti, Milesevic, Chervelin, Olsen, Patrell, Bogus, Ryan Houghton. Guillot comes home in 20th place on the opening lap. So Lewis Trickett, in terms of the Brits, dives into 2nd place. So the 214 on the green Kawasaki, looking to make a move and lead a European Championship race here against the form book. The iFly Lanes Kawasaki rider there in the yellow helmet, the second rider in shot, going after the 381 of George Cabal, the Romanian on the Vector Semesti KTM. And tripling downhill as well. Is he going to quad? No, he triples and singles, takes a look over his shoulder to see exactly what's going on around him. Lewis Trickett looking to make a burst around the outside. He takes the lead. He runs wide and loses the lead immediately. So George Cabal, the 381, leading away here. But for how long? He loses it. Over the far side, he cases the double. Lewis Trickett leads, so we've got a Brit leading a European Championship race. And Jeremy Sewer pops into second as well on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. So we were talking about the likelihood of Valentin Guillot potentially picking up a first European title if he wins, and Jeremy Sewer 5th. Lewis Trickett getting a decent jump there, 2:14 look. But Clarkey up the inside, the 5:11. Bar banging action going on. Ryan Houghton right up the inside, but Valentin Guillot almost got bumped there by Covington. 64 definitely pushed him wide as well. And that was Trickett going into second, passing Eckerol at the end of that first lap, but fastest man on track and leading the race now, 2:05.478. Here's Jeremy Sewer, and we've got a man down over on the far side of the circuit. Can't quite see who that is from the riding gear or where it is on the track, but Sewer leads, Trickett second, Covington third, Cable fourth, Clark fifth now as they drop down the hill. Valentin Guillot, oh, Clark getting into all kinds of trouble going up the hill in the baby blue outfit. Guillot into 13th place. Covington though here on the second of the green Kawasaki's, number 64. Finds himself in third and going after Jeremy Sewer. Those two put on a right display yesterday in the qualifying race. Trickett doing his best to hold a tight inside line though. Still there, oh no, he's just been passed. So Covington now goes into second. So the young American going after Jeremy Sewer. Wasn't jumping the triple opposite the Monster Energy, or just behind the start line area yesterday, or not on a regular basis, and his old man was telling him, you know what, you're going to have to do it sometimes to just to keep pace. But and Clarkey losing the front end, but managing to keep it upright, and that was when Jeremy Sewer went past. That was on the approach to the penultimate corner over the triple. So finding a way past Lewis Trickett. That was just over the front. Going down hard as well. Still couldn't quite see the number there. 4:30 maybe. Valtteri Marlin from Finland. Stevie Clark, he's in third place. So Jeremy Sewer, fastest man on track, he's 2.5 seconds clear of Thomas Covington. Third is Stephen Clark. Fourth, Lewis Trickett. Just there, the 2-1-4 on the iFly Lanes Kawasaki. So we've got Brits third and fourth, Mike Crash in the Netherlands on the Burspoon Suzuki is fifth, George Cabal, the Romanian, is in sixth, Davide Bonini is seventh, Stefan Eckerhold's dropped down to eighth on the number 15, Cossack Racing KTM. Ninth is Mika de Waal, 10th is Valentin Guillot now. After that crash at the end of the first lap that took him down to 20th place. Looks like the championship's going to be going to the final round in Lierop. At 2:03.2 for our race leader, Jeremy Sewer, the fastest man on track, half a second quicker than the guy behind him, Thomas Covington. Sewer making a break for it, but the 64 looking to get a little bit closer. Is it 2.5 seconds now? I don't know, difficult to say. Stevie Clark would love to get on the podium here, so too would Lewis Trickett. They've got a nice gap between them and Mike Crass here, 55, who's got a freight train of riders behind him, about 10 guys queuing up behind him. The first of which is not George Cabell anymore, it's Davide Bonini. And just behind them, Valentin Guillot has come through the traffic and finds himself now in, what, 5th, 6th, 7th place. Bit of smoke coming from, is that Panini's bike? Panini's bike starting to smoke as he drops downhill ahead of Valentin Guillot. Mike Crass comes into land though, over the step up, into the penultimate corner. Our leader's already over the line, 2.2 seconds. Covington now, 2/10 quicker and the fastest man on track. In second place, the American on the CLS Fluid Kawasaki. Here's our championship leader though, number 92, Valentin Guillot. Second rider in shot at the end of pit lane. Third rider now, Mike Crass taking a nervous look over his shoulder and loses a place to Davide Bonini. And Valentin Guillot goes around the outside of both of them. So in the blink of an eye, Guillot goes from 7th to 5th. And he's on course to closing down Stevie Clark and Lewis Trickett. The two guys in 3rd and 4th ahead of him. Bonini getting it wrong as he tried to attack Valentin Guillot. That bike still smoking away. Wonder if he's aware of it. Josh Waterman had a big prang on the finish line jump in the amateur race because of a blown oil seal. Blowing smoke just like that. The shock let go as he took off on the finish line jump. Unfortunately for him. He'll get well soon, Josh Waterman. But Valentin Guillot through the wave section. Bonini, the 96, just behind him. And de Waal goes in front of, goes down in front of Mike Crass, who's in no hurry to lift that machine away from fellow Dutch rider de Waal. So de Waal picks himself up and rejoins the race just ahead of the 73 of Peter Eert, so right down in amongst it, about 19th, 20th position, something like that. 147 just behind him. Jesper Jonsson, he's lost a couple of positions on that lap. So the sun really starting to come down now. Shining out, full gas here. Ooh, Jonsson right down the inside of Graulis. Graulis not making a good start at all. Was it Graulis? That was De Waal finding a way through, then he lost the back end. Mike Crass probably could have worked a little bit harder to get that bike off of De Waal's. There's 15, Stefan Eckerol. He's in 8th place as he came over the line. Sewer and Covington still about 2.5 seconds apart at the head of the field. In 1st and 2nd, Stevie Clark still 3rd, Trickett still 4th. Valentin Guillot about 5 seconds behind. That's the guy we're looking at on screen here, the championship leader. The flash of blue just disappearing out of sight. It was Lewis Trickett on the I-Fly Lanes Kawasaki just here. He's in 4th place, making Guillot work extremely hard just to close in on that Guillot Motorsports KTM. So the Swiss rider, look at this gaggle of riders here, the freight train led up by the 15 of Eckerol right the way back to Jordan Booker, probably in 20th position through the wave section. Just getting it a little bit out of shape there was that 381 George Cabal, our early race leader. Just starting to run a little bit wide now, coming under pressure from the 742, is that? 747 of Chervelin. But with 12.25 minutes plus the 2 laps to go, Jeremy Sewer is doing a good job leading this race. He's 12 seconds clear of Stevie Clark now because Covington's made a mistake and is falling down by the wayside. He comes over the line in 5th. So Sewer now in the lead. Covington has disappeared. Clarkey in 2nd. Lewis Trickett is 3rd. Valentin Guillot is in 4th place. Covington now in 5th. Bonini 6th. Benoit Patrel 7th. Thomas Olsen, Stefan Eckerol, and the 747 of Michele Chervelin is your 10th place rider. So looking good for Valentin Guillot, but he could do with taking a few more places just to give himself that extra breathing space going into Lierop in a couple of weeks' time. George Cabal doing his best to stay ahead of number 9, Brian Bogus. Bogus there in the white helmet right on the right-hand side as he goes uphill. Making a bad start, but taking another position at the top of the hill as he pushes Cabal aside into 11th place now goes Brian Bogus. He's got Michele Chervelin just ahead of him. Jumps in a little bit short, though, on the Honda step-up. But Michele Chervelin, Brian Bogus, and there's George Cabal. There's Covington, CLS Floride rider. Obviously been down on that left side. Been passed by Jeremy Sewer. Young 17-year-old from the US. Was in 2nd, just behind Jeremy Sewer, till a couple of laps ago. Didn't see the crash, not sure where it happened out on track either, but he'll be looking to try and get back into a podium finish. "10 minutes plus 2 to go in the European 250 Championship race here at Matterley Basin, the Motocross Festival at Matterley Basin, deep in the south of England, just outside the city of Winchester in Hampshire. Valentin Guillot, the championship leader, finds himself in 4th after coming from 20th place when he crashed on the opening lap. At the end of the wave section, caught the rear wheel. They have another rider going into the left-hander at the end of the straight. But Sewer there in red has closed in on Lewis Trickett. And Trickett in third position, but then there's a big gap between them and Stevie Clark on the HM Plant KTM, who sits in second position behind the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe rider of Jeremy Seewer of Switzerland. Just there in the background at the top of the hill in the yellow and green, Thomas Covington, he's in fifth place. And then it's Davide Bonini, Benoit Patrel, Thomas Olsen, Stefan Eckerol, and Michele Chervelin. Adam Sterry is in 15th position, with Jorge Zaragoza down in 19th place. Not exactly what we expected from him this weekend. Ryan Houghton outside the points as well on the bike kit. Cosworth Monster Energy Yamaha, he's in 22nd place. Arminas Jasikonis 24th. Luca Moroni, another rider we normally see up at the sharp end, he's in 26th. De Waal is 29th. Ben Watson 31st. Booker 33rd. So bad starts and all kinds of things going on for various riders out on track in this European 250 final. Got this round in the Netherlands round at Lierop on September the 8th. Coming into the race, Valentin Guyot. All he needed to do was score 8 points more than Jeremy Seewer. Would have meant a win for him and a fifth for Jeremy. That would have been enough to secure a European title, but sometimes it doesn't happen as easily as that. Seewer is leading, and this guy here, Valentin Guyot, having to come from 20th place just to get to somewhere in contention. Just for knocking on the door to a podium. Lewis Trickett, though, he'll be doing his best to try and keep Valentin Guyot at bay, of course. Trickett, the 214 on the iFly lanes, Kawasaki. What a ride he's having here. And Guyot looking to go up the inside. There's 17 points in it before we came here this weekend, but Jeremy Seewer is going to pick up 25. Guyot is going to pick up 18. He's going to lose 7 points in this race, so it's going to go down to 10 points. Going into the final round at Lierop. Not sure on the sand riding skills of both those guys, but of course we're talking about Valentin Guyot and Jeremy Seewer. But I'm sure they'll be doing the laps at Lierop, or not Lierop, but deep venues around Belgium and Holland. Oh, and Trickett throws it away. The front end just got away from him. So Trickett picks himself up and loses a position to Covington as well. Just a little loss in concentration. He's now right into the clutches of Bonini. Just there. And also Benoit Patrel. And it looked like Thomas Olsen. Oh, probably winded himself as well. I'm not surprised. Right into the side of the wall of the rut. This time Valentin Guyot does avoid the carnage. Watch the front end, just gets away from him, slams him to the ground into the berm. The height of that berm is almost the width of his own body, Lewis Trickett. So goes from third place then, picks himself up in fifth, but will he still be there when he comes over the line in about a half a lap or so? Well, Seewer 17 seconds clear now, Stephen Clark on the HM Plant KTM. And Jeremy Seewer and Valentin Guyot comes over the line in third. About another 12 seconds behind. Damage has been limited just a little bit. Managed to pick up another couple of points. So a 17-point gap. And the difference between first and third now, just 5 points. So that gap will be 12. As Stephen Clark on the HM Plant KTM UK machine, the 511, a former 85cc junior world champion, takes a look over his shoulder. Sees Guyot about 12 seconds further back. Just needs to keep his focus now. He led the race, he whole shot pretty much. But he stalled it in the left-hander at the end of the wave section, which is the reason why Valentin Guyot went down in the first place, because a couple of riders looking at avoiding action. Valentin Guyot just had too much speed going in to the left-hander at the end of this straight here. Caught the rear wheel. It might have been of Jeremy Seewer's wheel, actually. And just folded the bike. He was high-sided over the top, went down, picked himself up in 20th place. But Valentin Guyot Bit of a tall order to look at second position in the race. He'll still be on the podium. Never been off it, Valentin Guyot. Started the season with 3 wins, Portugal, France and Sweden. 2 seconds in Latvia, Finland. Was back on top in Czech Republic at the previous round. Stevie Clark. Meanwhile, he only rode the 1 round in France, got a 13th there. So for him to be on the podium, again, might just get him a little bit of recognition. Put himself in the shop window, as we say. But a loss in concentration. We saw what happened to Lewis Trickett. Comes home. Is he still there in around 5th place? Well, Covington comes over the line now, 10 seconds behind this guy. Olsen now goes into 5th. Trickett has been pushed back to 6th. Benoit Paturel all over the back of him in 7th. There's Yves de Maria, former MX3 world champion, doing the Alex Ferguson impression, chewing nervously. Just on the infield, on the outside of turn 7. Keeping an eye on what's going on with Valentin Guyot. Of course, the rider is looking at a mistake there from Stevie Clark in 2nd, though. Can't afford too many more of those. Nice tidy style. Spent a bit of time on and off in the US as Stevie Clark. Riding Supercross and the occasional outdoor nationals and looking to try and find a way back into Europe. On a pretty good team there, HM Plant KTM. Under the watchful eye of Roger McGee. Doing a good job for him here as well. Sitting there in 2nd position at the moment, about 11 seconds clear of this guy. Valentin Guyot, the championship leader. That's why he's running a red number plate on the front of that machine. Here's Thomas Olsen, the number 61. He's in 5th place now on the JTEC Ester Motorsports Honda. Looking at going after Thomas Covington on the CLS for Lurid Kawasaki. So the young American here, number 64, might be in danger of losing another position here. Oh, and losing the front end was Thomas Olsen. A very lucky moment there for him. Track is absolutely perfect now on track. All the conditions are. Olsen going for the double single, going into the penultimate corner. Riders ahead of him. Jeremy Sewer already about 42 seconds clear, so that's a 2-minute lap. Might be just enough time on the clock to take it to another 3 laps. Have to wait and see how far Jeremy Sewer is around the lap at the moment, but Thomas Olsen, number 51, having a good ride here in 5th place. Down in 11th place in the championship at the moment. 40 points, tied with Nathan Watson. But Nathan Watson obviously opting to ride MX2 this weekend. In terms of positions, Thomas Olsen, best has been a 6th place in Latvia. Didn't score in Finland. So he'll be looking to go one better here. And try to get into 4th place. Bouncing his way through the wave section at the end. And the number 61, JTEC Ester Motorsports Honda rider. A little bit closer to Covington than he was a lap ago. Hard and choppy and loose and slick, this Matterley Basin circuit. Wonder what it's going to throw up in the final 2.5 laps. Sewer looking good. Only had one win so far this year in Latvia. But in terms of his consistencies or inconsistencies, he was just one time off the podium, a 4th in Finland, when Guio didn't win and came home 2nd. And he's had to play second fiddle on so many occasions as Jeremy Sewer, but I'd say the one win in Latvia. But this battle for 4th place between the 64 of Thomas Covington, who just has to correct himself there, caught himself a little bit off balance. Now coming under pressure in that 4th place from the Honda of Thomas Olsen. Bit of a squeeze going into the right-hander at the top of the hill. Both guys making it to the inside almost. Oh, a little bit short there on a triple for Thomas Olsen. Is he running out of time though? That's the thing. 11 laps have been completed so far. We're waiting for Jeremy Sewer to come over the line any moment now as Benoit Paturel goes out of 7th place. So Paturel picks up that Husky as Sewer comes over the line now to complete 12 laps. Time of 2:07.9 for the race leader. This battle still going on for 4th place though. Stevie Clark should come over the line any moment now on the HM Plank KTM UK machine. A little bit quicker than Sewer that time around by a full second. That gap now 17.9 seconds, but with 2 laps to go, just might be a case of Sewer just backing it off, trying to keep it safe. It's Guio disappearing over the step down in the background after the start line area. But Covington in 4th. He's had a good ride. Had it not been for that mistake, could have been challenging for 2nd or 3rd place. Would have certainly helped the cause of Jeremy Sewer if he was in between as another rider with Clarkey pushing Guio back to 4th. That would have taken another couple more points back, but Valentin Guio will be on the podium here. The deficit will be just reduced by 5 points. Olsen up the inside. Covington runs wide, makes a mistake. So Thomas Olsen, it was a mistake as well. Covington looking to respond immediately, does so successfully. He'll know he's got himself a bit of work to do to stay ahead of the number 61 of Denmark, Thomas Olsen. These guys, no, not going to give up. Ah, Trickett's gone down again. Goes from 6th place. The left-hander at the top of the hill for Honda step up. 99 Zaragoza going through, so that puts him in 11th place. Eckerode going through as well, and disaster for Trickett as Adam Sterry goes through. So Sterry 14th.